بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها النبي إذا طلقتم النساء فطلقوهن لعدتهن وأحصوا العدة واتقوا الله ربكم لا تخرجوهن من بيوتهن ولا يخرجن إلا أن يأتين بفاحشة مبينة وتلك حدود الله ومن يتعد حدود الله فقد ظلم نفسه لا تدري لعل الله يحدث بعد ذلك أمرا فإذا بلغن أجلهن فأمسكوهن بمعروف أو فارقوهن بمعروف وأشهدوا ذوي عدل منكم وأقيموا الشهادة لله ذلكم يوعظ به من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر ومن يتق الله يجعل له مخرجا ويرزقه من حيث لا يحتسب ومن يتوكل على الله فهو حسبه إن الله بالغ أمره قد جعل الله لكل شيء قدرا واللائي يئسن من المحيض من نسائكم إن ارتبتم فعدتهن 3 أشهر واللائي لم يحضن وأولاة الأحمال أجلهن أن يضعن حملهن ومن يتق الله يجعل له من أمره يسرا ذلك أمر الله أنزله إليكم ومن يتق الله يكفر عنه سيئاته ويعظم له أجرا أسكنوهن من حيث سكنتم من وجدكم ولا تضاروهن لتضيقوا عليهن وإن كن أولات حمل فأنفقوا عليهن حتى يضعن حملهن فإن أرضعن لكم فآتوهن أجورهن وأتمروا بينكم بمعروف وإن تعاسرتم فسترضع له أخرى لينفق ذو سعة من سعته ومن قدر عليه رزقه فلينفق مما آتاه الله لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا ما آتاها سيجعل الله بعد عسر يسرا وكأين من قرية عتت عن أمر ربها فحاسبناها حسابا شديدا فحاسبناها حسابا شديدا وعذبناها عذابا نكرا فذاقت وبال أمرها وكان عاقبة أمرها خسرا أعد الله لهم عذابا شديدا أعد الله لهم عذابا شديدا فاتقوا الله يا أولي الألباب الذين آمنوا قد أنزل الله إليكم ذكرا رسولا يتلو عليكم آيات الله مبينات رسولا يتلو عليكم آيات الله مبينات ليخرج الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات من الظلمات إلى النور ومن يؤمن بالله ويعمل صالحا يدخله جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها أبدا قد أحسن الله له رزقا الله الذي خلق 7 سماوات ومن الأرض مثلهن يتنزل الأمر بينهن لتعلموا أن الله على كل شيء قدير وأن الله قد أحاط بكل شيء علما.
As the gender war rages on, in order to keep the peace, we must discuss the exact facts. Welcome to Exactly. I'm your host, Saudi Man. Remove your shoes and enter upon your right foot, upon the right state of mind, bi-idhnillah. Topic: men who argue with women, are they secretly LG-HD-4K TV, HDMI? Sometimes I forget about the HDMI. Those are the ones that are advocating pedophilia, the HDMI. They call themselves minor attracted persons, MAP, M-A-P. You all may be familiar with NAMBLA, North American Man-Boy Love Association. But this is a new, same people, new title, MAP, minor attracted person. So you can't forget about the HDMI, which they like to call plus. Okay, so let's not be disillusioned. So men who argue with women, are they secretly LG-HD-TV-4K, HDMI? I have with us coming on Brother Black Mind, inshallah ta'ala. He'll be on soon. He's making Fajr, inshallah, then he'll be on. But let me go ahead and set up the topic. I would like to start with a term, hubris. Hubris it means that you think too highly of yourself. You pedestalize yourself. Uh, you are categorizing yourself above your pay rate, basically. Okay, you make $4, $5, $6,000 a month, and you think that you are a millionaire. Hubris. Okay, I can't think of what the Arabic term for hubris is, but nishaza comes to mind, which means that you are acting above and outside of your station. Okay, when a man is abusing his wife, when a man is being harsh toward his wife, this is nashaza. He is acting outside and above his station. A better example would be when a man is asking his wife to perform certain acts that are haram, whether these acts be intimate or these acts be, uh, contact this individual and collect my interest, or tell them I'm going to charge them 15% interest, or whatever haram that you may be directing your wife. In other circumstances, she would have to obey you. But in this circumstance, we know there's no obedience to the makhluk, the created thing, and disobedience to al-khaliq. Okay, so we cannot obey. A wife cannot obey a husband in this particular instance. Okay, so Brother Black Mind, inshallah ta'ala, should be coming on. I wanted Sister Mirta to come on, but it's at her leisure, alhamdulillah. Nevertheless, this hubris is a disease. Hubris is indeed a disease, whether it is from male or female. I talked about the male making nashaza, which is ordering his wife to do some intimate thing haram. She cannot obey him in that. She should not obey him in that. And this is nashaza on the man's part. Nashaza on the woman's part is allowing people into her house that he does not approve of, at times that he did not approve. At times that he did not approve, if I didn't say that correct the first time. Or leaving the home without his knowledge or approval, or any of that. Okay, that's nashaza. She is acting outside of her responsibilities. Okay, so again, what Allah Ta'ala says about this in one ayat of the Quran, it says, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim, wa la talbisul haqq bil batil." Okay, wa taktamul haqq wa antum ta'lamun. Okay, it says that do not make libas. Libas is like a covering or a garment. Do not shroud the truth with falsehood. Okay, a lot of times we have a false premise, an idea. Like, for instance, I was just discussing with a Muslim. They were talking about obey the law of the land. Now, this Muslim had posted a picture. I am mourning the death, and she's from the UK, so probably was a UK slave. I am mourning the death of the queen. I am in mourning, and it breaks my heart. All this type of stuff. Put a picture of the queen and stuff like that. So their queen. And this right here is this is a batil premise. Okay, you can see what the mentality is. And then, so when we start advising her, correcting her about this, she said, well, she was over the land, and you have to obey the laws of the land, and start throwing out a lot of batil. And that batil did what? That batil covers the truth, which is that Allah does not order us to obey, as I mentioned with the husband and the wife, obey the makhluk over al-khaliq, obey the creation over the creator. It does not happen. Okay, so this disease of hubris, it applies to the male or the female. We don't allow the male to male to male. We don't allow the male to cover the truth with falsehood. We don't allow the female to do so. Okay, this is not allowed to allow them to do so. And it's not just males have to correct males and females have to correct females, but everyone that is a believer is open to correction, excuse me. Now, ittaqillah, fear Allah, was like favorable in the past, but today it's an insult. You say fear Allah, they say no, you fear Allah, or there is some type of angst that follows. So we're dealing with that type of generation, and this the same generation of Muslims that uh, are opposed to men arguing with women. Okay. Um uh, Again, does this apply to male to apply? Does this only apply to male, to female, or does it run the gamut? Okay, does it run the gamut? Okay, guest is in green room. Okay, I'm bringing the brother on now. Assalamu alaikum, yahi.
Walaikum salam. How's
Alhamdulillah.
everything?
Good, good, mashallah. You're loud and clear, mashallah. Okay. This I was. Did you catch any parts of what I was saying?
Yes, that the last thing I heard you explaining was that we do not obey the creation if it's going to mean disobedience to the creator.
Yes, yes, and I was saying that the shameless in following the shameless infer that when Allah says وَلَا تَلْبِسُوا الْحَقِّ بِالْبَاطِلِ وَتَكْتُمُوا الْحَقَّ وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ, that do not cover the truth with falsehood, nor conceal the truth when you know what it is, or refuse to say the truth or speak the truth when you know what it is. Does this apply only male to male, this order? Or does it apply only female to female? Because the shameless, and when I say shameless, if you study the people that say only family members, male family members can correct females. Of course, you know from the manosphere and red pill that females can't correct females, and males can't correct females, so there's nobody to correct. Okay, everyone can correct the
Yes.
male, but no one can correct the female. They say us males can't do it because we're males, we don't understand. But even females get ostracized for correcting, right?
Yes, as a matter of fact, the principle or the idea, people like to say, um, they like to ask the question rhetorically to illustrate that principle, which is, who gonna check me, boo? And
Yeah,
if a woman does begin to correct other women, and it's in any way not just convenient to men, but if it's not inconvenient to men, then other women are going to quickly refer to her as a pick me, and they're going to say that she's a sellout, and that they'll use terms like male identified, um, and they'll say that she has no business doing such because it's a treachery. Women consider this to be a treachery.
yeah, yeah. What that believe all women didn't come from men. Believe all women.
No.
The logic is believe all women just in case one of them tells the truth. Can you
Yeah,
imagine?
in case, yes, in case someone tells the truth,
Yeah.
you were not to, yeah, you weren't to have any doubts, you were not to express any doubts about the possibility of one of them lying, and the awareness of false accusations is usually met with, "Oh no, believe all women." And there was actually a lady who I think you even pointed out, a lady who said that if a man is falsely accused, he should accept that
Yeah.
and confess and plead guilty to make up for um, the um, the crimes for which other women, in fact, were victims. To make up for the times it's been true,
Yeah.
because men are just so bad and so wicked, and have just victimized women so much.
Yeah. So with that being said, covering the truth or falsehood, the people that are shameless, because like I say, the ones that say it, if you study their social media page or if you know them personally, uh, these are not necessarily the best of Muslims. I'm talking about publicly. Forget the hidden stuff, because you know, I guess we're all terrible, hidden, if it's hidden. But the shameless open sinners, that post haram and all this type of stuff. Okay,
Hmm.
they infer that it must be a male relative, a blood relative, a mahram that corrects a female when she posts her titties out, in scarf with a bodysuit on. It's not just leggings; it's a legging suit. Everything's out. like Muhammad SAW said, prophesy clothed yet naked. I can't say you need to cover. They say, oh, you're not her father, you're not her husband, you're not her brother. Well, all those people have failed her. All of them have failed her. And then if you dare correct them, say, well, what are you talking about? They failed her. My duty as a Muslim is to call to the khair, and to correct the munkar if I witness it. Manyara, manyara, when you see it, whoever sees a munkar, manyara munkarin, whoever sees a munkar, so if I witness it, I have to say something about it by the order of the Rasul Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They say, no, you got to be a male relative. So they move the goalposts. Again, they move the goalposts where you can't even fulfill your duty to Allah Ta'ala when it comes to them.
Well, even if a male relative is the first one in priority, then what happens when the male relative is either not alive or is unaware or just isn't there or didn't do it? Then what? Um, and I mean, a lot of times we have to go with something lower on the priority list than what we wanted. So they may be right in principle and in theory in an ideal situation. And people love to take these ideals and then try to limit you to the ideal when the ideal is no longer available.
No, the misspeak is that they should say their male relatives should have corrected them. It's past tense. Because now
Hmm.
I've seen it. If my daughter is out doing what anything other than what I raised her to do, doing anything haram, un-Islamic, whatever, please correct my daughter. You know?
Hmm.
Because like you said, it may be something that happened out of my range, out of my scope,
Yes,
without my knowledge, right? So please
exactly.
correct my daughter. If my daughter has alcohol in her hand, slap it out her hand, please. I don't care how harsh, it is. I'll go to court for you. I'll pay for your lawyer. You know, she shouldn't have been drinking.
Hmm.
You know, and that is the issue. Fresh and Fitna was talking about how um, he was advising women, saying that Myron, this Myron character, supposed to have a Muslim family, right? He says, uh, if you have a millionaire husband and your name is on the house, you're living in the house, and your name is on the car, and or even if it's not, you're living there, you're enjoying his. He said that shut up and stop complaining. You know. So what if he has a mistress or whatever? That's none of your concern. You got the name, you got the ring, you got the house, you got the car, right? And he even threw a caveat. He said that he threw something else in there. He said that if you divorce him by the archaic laws that we have today, you can take half of that wealth, including the house, right? So he said,
Hmm.
if you divorce him, so stop complaining and let that man do him, basically, right? You already won because you got the name and the ring and yada yada yada. So the woman says, "What about your daughter?" Because see, what happens? People tend to backtrack when you say, "What about your daughter?" Right? So he says,
Yeah.
"What about your daughter? Would you tell your daughter that?" He said, "If my daughter married a millionaire and he was sleeping around and she tried to divorce him, I would tell her to shut up and sit down somewhere. You already won." So he didn't back down. He didn't back down. Shut up and sit
Hmm.
down. You already won. Now we're Muslims, so we're not, we're gonna tell our son-in-law, hey, bro, fear Allah, man. Come on, man, fear Allah. No, it's not a cause for divorce, but fear Allah. You know what I'm saying? Don't, you have a right to two, three, or four. Don't be putting yourself in situations where even the suspicion is there. Because if we didn't see it, we can't say it happened. You know what I'm saying? You have to actually see the
Yeah.
pink going to the inkwell by the Islamic standard. But of course, Muslims don't hold those standards today. Subhanallah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No. Well, in a nutshell, Myron, I forgot what his real name was supposed to be, but Myron is he's been a disgrace in multiple ways.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, even amongst Sudanese, this guy would be considered a disgrace. I can tell that
Mm.
he did, and I'm not Sudanese.
Yeah.
I can tell he didn't even grow up around Sudanese
Yeah.
because many of them would simply say, if this is how you're going to be, you don't go on camera and say this.
Yeah.
And you certainly don't promote these sorts of things that Allah has forbidden.
Mm.
If Allah forbade it and you do it, then you did it, but you do not go up and promote it. And so he's pretty much promoting adultery as
Yeah.
long as it's the guys that do it. And please don't tell any women I said this, but adultery is different from multiple marriage. It's just as wrong when a guy does it as when a woman does it. But if you tell any women I said that, their heads might explode.
Yeah.
Um, and usually I will tell women, no, it's much worse when you do it than when a guy does it. It's not because I actually believe that it's morally that much worse. It's because I know that the women believe that it's morally that much worse. It's how they view it. And so, therefore, and plus they'll weaponize it because they can do it much more easily than men. But this guy has really he's really done a lot of damage, and this is where it comes down to Muslim heroes. It's one thing to notice that Andrew Tate was right about something or to agree with a particular point that he makes, especially if it's a moral point, but
Did you blake out? I think you went out.
for our own heroes. In all honesty, if you read Malcolm X at a young enough age, then Andrew Tate becomes a guy who can make astute observations. He doesn't have to be taken as a hero and a role model.
Yeah.
Somewhere down the line, we fail to where these guys wind up having to become role models and heroes. And it's not even fair to Andrew Tate. He's not supposed to be a role model and a hero to Muslims. That's not his burden to bear. And I'm not even sure he wants that burden particularly. But Myron is sitting up here having been raised as a Muslim, and he's preaching this stuff. So
Well,
he really is a fitna. It's not a joke when you say fresh and fitna. He's actually, I don't know if he's the one that's called fresh or the one that's called fit, but
yeah,
he's
he's fit.
actually
He's
the
fit.
fitna. Okay, so yeah, he's truly a fitna. I mean, he's really out here just telling um, uh, even Muslim youth certain things that he's not allowed to say. And I don't really know if it's the case or not, but I know that if he talked long enough, and I know from experience, and you and I are roughly the same age, we've had the same length of time to see the same pattern. If he talks long enough, and he hasn't done it already, he's going to say something that contradicts the faith. He's going to say something that counts as a nullification of his faith. And then the only question would be, did he know it was a nullification or not?
Yeah.
But we also know that when someone like him speaks and says something like this, and then you tell him that's a nullification of the faith, he'll turn around and say, I don't care. You wouldn't even be able to get the explanation out. And it's just a question of if he's done it already. Really, that's it. That's it. If we have to go through everything he said to know, but if he's done it already or not is really the only question. This is the kind of guy that does that, and he
Qu-
leads a bunch of people down the wrong path.
Question: Is Abu
Yes, sir.
American still around?
I'm sure he is. As a matter of fact, I can find out in a few seconds
I
for you. Give
haven't
me a
seen
moment.
any thumbnails or anything from. Now, I'm not saying I subscribe. I don't subscribe. He used to his knowledge of Islam and his excuses for the Saudi regime. I couldn't take it, bro. I really I couldn't stomach it. So plus he gives out a lot of bad advice. It's entertaining. Now I'm not gonna say it's not entertaining. But he gives a lot of bad advice out. Jawad would know if Jawad was here. He would know. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah, Sister Khadija, alhamdulillah. But yeah, Jawad would know because he follows him. Nevertheless, Abu American supports Fresh and Fitna because Fresh and Fitna, through them, he got a lot of subscribers and likes and hits. He's been on their show even. You know what I'm saying? If they did not even go on his show. So this is the issue with Myron Fitna, fit/Fitna. I wouldn't have too much concern about him saying I grew up in a Muslim household, Muslim family. That doesn't matter. A recent video, not long ago, he said, because I'm Muslim, so he said that quickly. He said, I'm Muslim, so they got to stop that, bro. These celebrities that Dave Chappelle included, Moneybag Yo, Kevin Gates, whoever else calling themselves Muslim, that's actually not Muslim, not Muslim-ish. They need to stop it because they're actually putting a black eye on the deen. But nevertheless, Abu American, if you say something about Fresh, if I say Fresh and Fitna, in his chat room, if I type Fresh and Fitna on one of his lives, he'll block me. He'll block me.
Mm.
So, like I said, man, I mean, alhamdulillah, Allah didn't try me with that, but I'm not going to support, like Allah says, do not cover the truth with falsehood, nor conceal the truth when you know what it is, And this is what we have. We have people blocking you if you say something, Islamic, quote unquote. They'll block you, you know. And blocking is, you know, that we take that's too much. Some Muslims will be like, say it again, I'll block you. Like, dude, I don't even know you. Like, you can't block my life. You can't block my blessings. Like, what is the block? I won't see your fitna anymore. Alhamdulillah. You know?
Yeah, and
Alhamdulillah.
then that's less of responsibility for you anyway, because
Yeah.
if you see it, you call it out. But if you don't see it, then you weren't responsible because you didn't say something, because you didn't see it. So they're actually taking the burden off of you.
Yes.
I just looked and saw that his channel is still up and he's turning out content.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I've yeah, I've listened to him before. I've derived some benefit, and then there have been some things that just really didn't have an effect one way or another. He hasn't said what that which has harmed me. Now, I didn't hear what he said about the rulers here where I live. I myself can't say anything about
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
legally, but I just didn't hear what he said,
Yeah.
and that may have been by design. I don't really
Well,
know.
you know what it is.
Um,
It's not really what he says. It's what he won't say.
oh,
You know what I'm saying?
okay.
He live in
Uh
Germany.
huh.
He lives in Germany, so I don't understand. But nevertheless,
No, actually there is if he lives in Germany, then there is a good reason, because there's enough travel between here and there, more so between a neighboring country and Germany. There's enough back and forth travel directly, and yeah, they there is some things that could happen, because what's going on before is that even when people have had refuge in other places, usually these were citizens, but people have had refuge in other places, and they've gotten on flights to go somewhere else altogether different, and then they've been flown to Riyadh, and then no one sees them again. So this has happened.
yeah.
So
But,
it could.
with this individual, I mean, you know, being quiet is one thing, but towing the line, defending and stuff like that, that also happens. But I'm saying, I'm not trying to make it about him. I'm saying just if you read this ayat, certain people come to mind. And these are
Hmm.
personalities. This is not a person that you don't know. I'm mentioning this guy that goes to the Masjid. I'm talking about somebody that has thousands of subscribers, thousands, hundreds of thousands of followers, maybe, and you know, and really, I mean, giving young Muslim brothers advice. You know,
Hmm.
giving young
Yeah.
Muslim brothers advice and things like that, and it becomes cultish. There's an Arab brother that has a red pill podcast. He curses like he don't understand in English. That's bad to do. You know, Muhammad some said a believer doesn't curse. You know, he doesn't curse, insult, utter obscenities and things like that. This is not what a believer does. This is not part of a believer's vocabulary. And the only time Allah excuses that when you're being oppressed. You know, when a wrong has been done to you, a dhulm, an oppression has been done to you, then if you yet lash out, you're not blameworthy for something like that. You know, because oppression is a great offense. But nevertheless, I'm just saying it's really cachet and things like that. And there are things I would not do. I don't even advertise for followers and subscribers like that. You know what I'm saying? It's certain things I would not do. I want to benefit those that benefit, and those that don't benefit, then may Allah forgive me if I said anything wrong. But I'm just talking about these people in this particular area. These people are mashhur. They're famous. They're not Joe Blow at the Masjid, Joe Blow Muhammad at the Masjid. So that's why I brought up
Yeah.
these individuals. But the
And
question
they're
I
no longer
have,
private.
yeah. The question I have is that this, these people infer that you have to be a male relative of mahram to correct a woman. Okay, would that apply to women correcting men? I would ask these same people, does that apply to women, Muslim women correcting Muslim men? Because they're never short on that advice.
Mm-mm. We know, never are. Yeah, there's never, and I'd love to hear what they say to you, because you asked them this in the context of that discussion.
Yes.
But I'm pretty sure that that thought never crossed their mind before you asked them that.
Well, it's the same way, same what people say, uh, they, I'll say something, they'll come, uh, don't judge him, you know, don't judge him, don't call out his fault. I say, but you're here judging me and calling out my fault. They say, you
Hmm.
should have DM'd him. I say, where's my DM? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These people are not sincere. They're not sincere. So not everybody says men that argue with women, and we'll go to I'm going to help them. I'm going to advocate for them in a little bit, but not everybody that says men who argue with women are out there. They're in the closet or LG HD-TV 4K HDMI. You know what I'm saying? They say that not everybody says that, but the ones that do say that, they seem not to have a mirror because they'll be doing the very same thing they accuse you of. Now, when they say men, they say, oh, that brother argues with women. Nobody says, oh, that sister argues with men. We don't get that same
No,
reaction, that counter reaction, that reciprocated reaction.
no, we don't. Two things that have really infiltrated the Muslim community in terms of them being like a religion, but people don't know that it is a subconscious religion, if you want to call it that. Two things that have really infiltrated are white supremacy and misandry, or you could call it rabid feminism, a third way. But these two have really done us in. Now, I remember when there was white supremacy, but feminism and misandry had not really infiltrated us so much. We were more likely to be accused of being misogynist than being misandrist. Um, but now I can see, and this has been more so since I've left the US, I can see it from abroad, but they definitely have infiltrated. And so what's happened is that the militancy that we would need to have against white supremacy, because it is in fact a false religion and it's a false idol of the day. It's like a modern day Hubal or Uzzah. Um, we instead this has been and not just amongst Muslims, but what's happened is that the militancy that is due against that has now been leveled and aimed against men, and largely against, in the black community, against black men, and then in the Muslim community against Muslim men. But it's largely been aimed against them. And of course, people will say certain things against white males, but in reality, these militancies are being aimed against either racially black men or religiously against Muslim men in the name of correcting the wrongs that were done before, and in the name of correcting oppression of women. But yeah, they've been allowed to infiltrate, and somebody, I mean, whoever wanted that to happen is probably sitting back and popping bottles of champagne to celebrate a big success,
Mm.
because this really has been successful. And so now, when you were talking to them in the West, they're going to say, I'm talking to the sisters in the West, they have all sorts of comebacks. They have everything except, you know what you said is the truth. Thanks for the advice, sir. Everything except that. And ironically, you could probably say certain things against white supremacy amongst Muslims, and you could get a better response than if you were to start to address the misandry that is creeping in amongst the Muslims. You can't get a better response there. I mean, even if you were to say that yeah, polygyny is fine and polyandry is wrong, a lot of Western sisters start to bristle. And we see this not just being in the US, it's not only America I'm talking about. I mean, 90 Day Fiance, you had Shaida and Bilal. And
Mm.
whenever he set boundaries, what did she do? Right
Well,
off the bat.
I didn't see that show. I didn't see it.
You didn't miss much. I didn't see all of it, but the clips that I saw showed me a lot, because you would look and honestly, you would have your blood pressure would be up for 12 hours if you did see that, because of how dumb these things are. I mean, it's almost like it's so stupid, it's scripted. But if I didn't know some folks that
Well,
would like this in
reality
real life,
shows are the most scripted shows. Actually, they're more.
hmm
You're allowed to go freestyle on Seinfeld, on the Chappelle show, but on reality shows they don't allow you to freestyle too much. Everything is scripted because they build in for the next show. You know what I'm saying,
hmm
because it runs
yeah,
in sequence almost. So they won't allow you to do certain things. Even if you're pregnant, you gotta abort it or hide it. Because they're not ready for that particular wave yet. Or that particular episode. So anyway, yeah. But allow
yeah,
me to
it's
advocate for them. Those that say you argue with women is when the conversation gets, and don't take much. The conversation starts to go uh, anti-intellectual. It doesn't take much, right?
yeah, yes,
Uh, it can be as simple as like a husband and wife could be. Uh, it can be he left the toilet seat up, you know, which I don't. I guess it's a cafe example. I don't know. A Muslim can pee standing up too. I don't know. That's a rumor that Muslims can't, especially if the seat is dirty. You know what I'm saying? Muhammad SAW didn't
Hmm.
sit on the toilet; they actually squatted on the ground. That's another discussion. Muslims ain't ready for that. But but nevertheless, the point is that let's say that he came in late, right? You know, and oh no, she came in late. So it's like, hey, you came in late. You left. You didn't wash out your toothbrush. You know, when you finish your toothbrush, you ain't wash it out. It's like, what just happened? You know, the toothbrush not being washed out is just as egregious as her coming in late. You know, it's just as
Hmm.
egregious because uh, they say if a woman's right, she'll stay right on point on subject. But if she's wrong, she'll move the goalpost. Like you won't even know where it is. You be running in the wrong direction. You'll score for the other team. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You know, you'll put the ball in the other team's goal because you have no idea what's, you know, where the goalpost is or where the net is. You know, where the goal is. But nevertheless, so allow me to advocate for them. Those that say men, he argues with women, uh, they are saying that when I guess they're saying I'm gonna advocate try to advocate for them. I guess they're saying when a discussion becomes illogical, the argument continues. Now I agree with that. I agree with that. There are several people that I've corrected on my Facebook friends list, right? Then they'll notice
Hmm.
I don't correct them anymore. They didn't improve. I just unfollow them. I don't even see what they post anymore. But I unfollow them instead of unfriend or block. Why? Because they may benefit from some of my content. You know, so I allow them to benefit from my content, but you know, I'm not gonna. I don't want to see their stuff. I avoid the Kufar, Walmart, malls. I try to avoid places like that because of the things you'll see. I'm not in the mood to see it. Right? I'm not in the mood to be in that type of company. So same with social media. I come on social media. It's entertaining. I could have a bit of dialogue with some intellectual brothers and sisters and things like that. But I don't want to see the stuff that I try to avoid by not adding kufar. You get what I'm saying? I try to
Hmm.
avoid certain discussions and things. I don't want to hear. I don't want to click on a story and hear church music in the background. You know, I don't want to
Naturally.
click on something and butts are shaking in my face. Now I love butts shaking in my face, but it's not good for my soul. It's not good for my my Islam, my Deen, right? And Muhammad
Yeah.
said,
And
speaking of Deen, he said, Adino Nasiha. The Deen is sincere advice. When a person says they're Muslim and they become beyond advice because it's coming from a deeper baritone or just a manly voice, and it's not a high pitched voice. Remember, they can't correct each other either. But if it's not coming from a
mhm.
more higher octave, you know, a higher pitch, if they can discard and see how when it's the duty of every believer, male and female, then we are in to quote Jesse Peterson, we're in a sunken state.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, we're certainly in the sunken state at this point because what people are really saying, and the listeners know this on a subconscious level, it's not about who can't correct somebody else. What is really being said is no one can correct anyone. That's
Yeah.
really what it is. Now, of course, I mean, a liberal can correct one of us that is more serious about the faith. Somebody that's wayward can correct somebody that's on a straight path, or at least trying to be. But you can't come from an orthodox or conservative standpoint and correct somebody that's going out of bounds and moving towards the bounds. That's what they're really saying. So um, the naked can correct the clothed for wearing clothes and tell them to go naked as well. The one with the hijab that looks like it's covering a camel's hump on her head can so-called correct one that's just wearing the hijab and not fitting the description in the hadith of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Um, that's allowed. You're allowed to be on the wrong track and correct those that are on the right. And this is really what people. I mean, the ones that are already correct understand that this is really what's being said, and that's what they mean when they say that you can't correct it. You only hear "Who are we to judge?" in response to somebody pointing out something actually wrong that somebody
Yeah.
else did it. That's the only time you hear it. And who are we to judge? Well, we were actually required to make a preliminary judgment based on what's available to us, while we reserve the final judgment for the Lord who knows everything and can factor in what we didn't know. But we're still supposed to make a preliminary judgment based on the open and the obvious. And I mean, that's why, like you said, we have to be leery of these celebrities. Now, Dave Chappelle did at one time say that he does not count himself as a representation of the faith.
Yeah.
So I understood that he wasn't trying to do so. But we do have people that are coming along and like Kevin Gates, and they're pretty much changing their faith. I mean, Kevin said
I don't
something that
accept
actually
I
kind of
don't
jumped out.
accept from Dave Chappelle that statement, because he could have shut up and said he wasn't Muslim and nobody would have knew it. Nobody
Well,
would
if
have
he
knew he
said
was
he
Muslim.
wasn't,
Huh?
but if he said he wasn't Muslim,
No,
then he
no,
would have been
no. He could have not said he was, meaning
okay.
like
Well,
don't even
yeah,
bring it up, and
yeah,
nobody would
okay,
have
that's
ever
different.
accused him of being Muslim. Because
Okay, yeah,
because
that's
remember
different. Yeah, that is.
Cat Williams was talking about how terrible the industry is. He said,
Mm-hmm.
"Look at Dave Chappelle, a devout Muslim." That's what he said. They
Yeah,
threw the same word devout at that P&B rapper that died in L.A. at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, right, over his jewelry, right?
yeah, yeah.
Most like this girl set him up, but nevertheless, or caused him to be set up. But nevertheless, even that guy, they say he was a devout Muslim. Nobody would have known if he never said he was, or people that knew him never said he was. Like whatever happened to shame? Okay, we have a quote unquote black gene in us that when black people do stuff, we feel something. You know that? We feel like oh man, that's like we hear about the DC sniper. I don't know if you remember the DC sniper, right? The
I
older man
remember.
and the young boy going around sniping people from the back, from the trunk of their car. You
I
know?
remember them.
Okay. Now, he was trying to set up an illogical pattern so he can kill his ex-wife. He didn't mean to kill a people. I mean, he did mean to kill the people that he killed, but he had an illogical pattern, and it was all going toward his ex-wife. He wanted to kill a few people, then kill his ex-wife, and then kill a few more to throw off the scent. It would make no logic. Therefore, he would not be, a suspect. That was his intention. But
Yeah,
again, with that, when we heard about the sniper, who didn't think the sniper was white? Every single
everybody
person.
did. Yep,
Everybody
law
did. When they
enforcement and
found it was
civilians
black, we
alike.
like, oh no. Now we got a Muslim gene in us too, right? Anytime there's boom, anytime there's a this or that, we say, oh man, I pray Allah you don't have a Arabic name. You know?
Yep, we do.
It's
We
that
do.
same
Yeah.
shame that we feel. Now, why don't sisters think we feel that shame when they naked? Or when they posting curse laden, memes and stuff, Or they posting
Yeah.
porn with a good message on it, And we say
Yeah.
this is haram, and then all the sisters start attacking. Then you say something to them Islamic, they say, oh, he argues with women. Guess who else argued with women? The Rasul Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He argued not only with his wives, he argued with other women because he corrected them. It's just that they were Muslims, so they accepted it. Muslims these days are not open for the deen because an-nasiha is the deen. Sincere advice is the deen.
Yeah. Um, they're not going to tolerate anybody telling them anything that they don't want. So they'll sit up and say, well, he argues with women in order to try to say that he's 9AY. Um, but in reality, what it comes down to is that they're just not willing to take a correction. And as I stated, um, they're taking the standard of militancy that we probably should have for white supremacists, and they're just trying to apply that to men. And that's because they can get support for that. A bunch of people are going to sit up and say, that's right. You tell them, don't let these men do X, Y, and Z. You're stopping these men in the tracks. You're changing history. But when you take on that same militancy towards white supremacy, then you don't get the same support. That's where somebody's going to come along and tell you, well, you're being foolish. Nobody ever wins against them, that sort of thing. And in a nutshell, somebody is whispering in their ear. You and I can tell someone's whispering in their ear because somebody is. If you think about it, who benefits? Who is it that actually benefits from them Yeah, who benefits from them thinking this way?
Well, uh, them,
Hmm.
they benefit.
But also, who benefits from men and women being at each other's throats? Then Muslim men and women being at each other's throats, along with racially speaking, black men and women being at each other's throats, which is spreading now to pretty much every race and culture anyway. But if you think about it, who benefits from that the most?
Well, the nature of secularism, or the nature of secularism, capitalism, and democracy. The nature of it is that the patriotic bond, watania, patriotism. The patriotic bond requires friction in order to gain strength. You know, uh, people, you have to have constant war, right? There has to be a constant enemy. If not, the society falls apart. Okay, people. A friend of mine, his father had a bumper sticker. The government, the Lord giveth, and the government taketh away. That was his bumper sticker on his Mark 6 Lincoln, whatever, right? He had a real nice luxury car, right? That's what he had. Okay, now, then, right after that, when the war started, he changed his bumper sticker to praise God and pass the ammunition. So that friction is required for people to be patriotic. If it's not there, then people tend to become lax and not care about flying flags so high, right? So when you say who does it benefits the establishment that is anti-family, anti-unity, anti-Islam.
And who is usually behind something that's anti-Islam?
Well, the system, the system, and those that benefit from the system, those that uh, uh, perpetuate the system, you know.
Yes, and the system requires somebody. The system requires advice from someone that knows a lot about human psychology and can travel long distances in a short time, and can put ideas in many people's heads, regardless of the language they speak. In a nutshell, what I'm getting at is that um, these ideas, these misandric ideas, come from the same place as misogyny would come from, or chauvinism, wherever it has existed.
Hmm.
Um, but it would come from the same place, and it would also come from the same place or the same entity that would benefit from white supremacy. Because if you hate a particular species or you hate a creation based on that out of which it is created, based on its very ingredients, you're going to hate anything that's normal or natural for that particular species. And therefore, it's just a matter of time that you're going to try to turn the two genders against each other because you don't like that species itself. You're you're also going to turn every variation of that species against its most original variation or the root variation because you hate that creation from the beginning. So you're going to hate its variations in degrees, and you're going to hate the most original one the most. And that's exactly what this is. I mean, who else would want? Because if you think about it, the system may still want people to be farmed, so to speak.
Hmm.
Well, that would mean that they would want men and women to match up with each other, because then you'd have more people. But who is it that would only want people if they're going to go to hell? And that's whom this system serves, and that's whom this misogyny and misandry would serve. That's whom white supremacy would serve, because it takes human beings and it tells them, okay, your most original variation, turn on them because they're the inferior ones. And then if you can get them to do this, then you can simply just go in steps from there on. Okay, well now, who's the next darkest that's left in the room? Okay, after they're gone, who's the next darkest left in the room? And eventually, that fire, that racial hatred, once it runs out of fuel, it would burn on itself. But this entity that wants that would then just simply come up with, if there's nobody left except for the Western European, then that entity would turn them against each other because then there'd be nobody else to unite them against.
Well,
And
that's how it
that
was in the
same
beginning.
entities.
Remember, with the Irish, the Italians, the European Jews, it was like that in the beginning, until they
Yep,
focus on someone that can actually build this country and fight their wars. You know,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
because they,
And
they couldn't
so
do
I
it.
mean,
They couldn't work out in the sun. They couldn't do all none of that. They couldn't
no,
do
they
none of
could
that.
not, and they could not, and but it served. The thing is that, in all honesty, a lot of this color prejudice it's older than the United States, even before its colonial period, before it became an independent nation, And so it was, in one sense, it's artificial because we do know that actual babies don't have this. But around the time that babies began to talk, actually before that point, they began to prefer whoever just most resembles their parents, regardless of race. They
Yeah.
just look for resemblances to their parents, and that's okay. But then around the time they start to talk, they began to formulate ideas about race without even knowing the words race and color, without fully
Yeah.
understanding it. So that suggests that somebody, once they can understand basic vocabulary, somebody is giving them certain ideas. And these ideas always go in one direction. They're always pro-white and anti-black. And this happens pretty much across the board with people.
Well, you
So
saw the you
there,
saw the experiment where they put two dolls in front of a black child and say, which one is the pretty doll? They point to the white
uh
doll.
huh,
Which one is the
hmm,
bad doll? Point to the black doll. You know what I'm saying? So
yes,
uh,
yes,
we know that so through the cartoons that I watched, Bugs Bunny, Looney Tunes growing up, Daffy Duck,
hmm,
Elmer Fudd. I watched Abbott and Costello, Laurel and Hardy growing up. These were anti-Islam, bruh. They were anti-Islam slash anti-Arab, and because Arab was associated with Islam by the ignorant, you know,
yeah,
that's how I got my indoctrination. So when I first heard Allahu Akbar, I laughed and laughed. I laughed and laughed. But the person that said it garnered so much respect. Brother named Asker Tori Muhammad. He passed away. May Allah grant him Jannah. He passed away, and he garnered so much respect from me. I started to love what he loved. So at the age of 11 or 12, I started calling myself a Muslim. Like 7, 8 years before I became a Muslim, actually. I was calling myself a Muslim.
hmm,
I wouldn't call myself that other stuff no more. You know, Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. All of that. I was saying all of that. At a young age, not even understanding Tawheed, even, not even taking Shahada, even. So again, that's the point I'm trying to make. So yeah, the war is there. So when they say men that argue with women, they are LG-HD-4K TV HDMI or 9AY. Uh, what they're doing is launching the same insult that contradicts the company they keep. I was just talking to this lady the other day, and she said that I have a lot of 9AY friends, right? And men these days, I was actually gonna have her come on the show. I don't know if she will. She still might. Very strongly opinionated, and she's not. And it's funny because she's strongly opinionated, but she's not masculine. You wouldn't get a hint of masculinity from this woman. Okay, it's not like
hmm.
she has a little petite voice, but you won't get a hint of masculinity from her. But she is very strongly opinionated, and I would tell you 9 out of 10 times she wrong. But anyway, so I might have on the show. I'm gonna try to get on the show. I don't know if she will come on. But nevertheless, she says I have a lot of 9AY friends, and dudes. I can't find dudes to change my tire. I can't find them to do this, do that. I had a problem with something happened in my home. One of my 9AY friends came over with a tool belt on, and this guy is more feminine than I am. He came over with his tool belt, and he did. I say because he's a man. Forget the act. Forget the Academy Award. I'm saying, forget the Tony and the Oscars he received for acting like a female. He's a man at the end of the day. So he came and he fixed everything and didn't charge her anything. Say men aren't changing tires. Men aren't. I say, well, when you got strong opinions like that, you need to have strong biceps too. You know, when you got
Hmm.
those type strong opinions, you need to do more squats and get your legs as strong as your opinions are. You know,
And
and,
that's
and
very fair.
hold on, bro, hold on. There's a meme. You'll like this meme. It says that the man said, when I was living in the house, I had to pick up everything was too heavy for her to pick up. I had to pick it up. I had to reach up to high places, do all this stuff for her. And as soon as she got mad at me, she threw all my stuff out. I'm saying she ain't asked for help. It went too heavy then. She threw out TVs, everything. Nothing was too heavy. You know, when she got mad, that's crazy though. Anyway,
And it's always like that. And I mean, let's look at that. Who is it that would inspire her or assist her in moving all of this stuff that used to be too heavy when she was calm?
hmm
Who has an interest in helping and assisting that? The problem is that Muslims are not looking at this particular stuff. We're not looking at these motivations as being what they actually are. And I mean, granted, now we do have some people that are beginning to point out that the biases that we have against each other are in fact from the shaitan, but nobody's standing up and saying that this misandry is also from the shaitan.
Oh
Nobody's
yeah.
standing up and telling these ladies that. And that's why she can turn around, pick up a TV all of a sudden and throw it out because she's mad at him. But when it's time to actually constructively move any heavy weight around, she cannot do it. And granted, I'm not saying she has to do that. She just has to be equally unable when
Yeah.
she's mad. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But that's not what's going on. Somebody is helping them. Um, Someone whom we don't see is helping them to make certain things lighter and weight when they get angry, as long as they're going to move that weight in a destructive manner. And they're falling for it, hook, line, and sinker. They're not questioning this at all. So we're dealing with people that are not critical thinkers. We're underestimating our enemy. I mean, both the men and the women are underestimating our enemy, but the women, they really are.
Yeah.
Now, what you pointed out was something that we should have pointed out a long time ago, and I probably should have mentioned it too because it did cross my mind, and I didn't say anything. But that's the hypocrisy. They're sitting up and trying to use non-AY as an insult,
Mm-hmm.
and yet and still they're befriending as close friends
Yeah.
guys that are non-AY, and we're talking about even the Muslims too.
Oh, of
Now
course.
that begs another question. If they're only using this as an insult when they're angry, then what does this mean when they actually use this, or when they say that some guy is non-AY and they're angry with him? That pretty much means that's a way to tell that he's straight.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, because only the straight get insulted by that. Now, I'm gonna bring up something before I get back to the LG-HD-TV thing. I'm gonna bring up something. You know, they say sticks and stones break my bones, words will never hurt me, and things like that. When a police beats down a person on camera, the people that defend the police, believe all police, I guess, like to believe all women people, they say,
Hmm.
but you don't know what that person said. They actually say that, bro. You don't know what Rodney King
Hmm.
said before they beat him up. You don't know what what's her name? The one that died in custody. What? So many died in custody. Damn, Sandra Bland. You know.
Sandra Bland, yeah.
Yeah. So I feel bad about that lady every time I think about it, man. Subhanallah. Anyway, so I'm saying like they didn't. They want to know what did she say. Well, it was on video what she said. You know, it's on
Hmm.
video what she said. She's smoking in her car. You know. I mean, like I say again, it's on video what she said, but like they always say, what did they say? Police are people too. No, these are trained, paid people. These are not people too. You know what I'm saying? They are trained, paid people, and if you talk to them, they above normal people. They have an authority above normal people. I've seen them exercise that authority in my life when I was younger, and recently. But nevertheless, so with this thing, this is what I'm getting at before I went around the long way. This is what I'm getting at. Women tell men not only that you are non-AY, which is insult to a straight man. It's we no to a man. Forget straight, okay? To a man,
Hmm.
because if you ain't straight, you crooked, okay? So we ain't got to
Yeah.
qualify, our preference. To a man, it's insulting to a man to call a man non-AY. It's insulting to a man. Even some of them get mad when you call them that. This is true. They get mad when you call them that sometimes. Some of them get
Hmm.
mad and say, "You outed me." Nigga, I just guess, nigga. but anyway,
Hmm.
guess what they do? I'm gonna tell you, bro. I come from a pop-off generation. We had a football game coaching these, 7, 8 year olds, and this one coach, he doesn't. He started to help the team now, but all his words were, "My son this, my son that, put my son here, put my son." I'm like, dude, I'm not here for your son. You got 17, 18 kids out here. I'm not here for your son. Your son is a cog in the machine, you know? So he's
Hmm.
like, my son this. And I'm like, man, I told you, my son. I trained him myself. I say, that ain't saying much. I say, he's very raw and can't even take a hand off properly. So stop bragging about how you trained him, you know? So we said a few more words. He said, I'll take my son and leave y'all by yourself and see how y'all do in the game. I said, of course you would, because that's how you are. Now, this Calfer look like three of me, bro. He's a big old Calfer, tattooed, mouth full of gold, look like he sold drugs back in the day or yesterday. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, what you say or something, and he walked. I I think when he said what you say, I turned to face him again, and he took a couple of steps toward me. So I put my right leg back and I clenched my fist up. I had him low, but I clenched my fist up because see, we pop off. Now these dudes come from a generation that argue a lot. It's not my generation. I'm saying we pop off. If we're gonna fight anyway, why don't I get the first lick? That's my logic. You know what I'm saying? So he approached me aggressively. I put my right leg back and I cocked my fist. He looked me up and down and said, "Oh, it's like that? You ain't about that life." And I point at him, I say, "That tells me exactly." I said, "It tells me for a fact you don't know me." Because I pop off. Now, my mind tells me to pop off, right? I don't always do it. But women tell men what? Not only they call us 9AY, they say, "You on your period." They
Yeah,
tell
they love
men
to say
that.
that to men.
They say
Hmm.
that to men, bruh.
Yes. Anything to emasculate a man, anything. And that's the only reason that they ever call a man 9AY. They're just doing it to emasculate a man. Their whole thing is that they want to emasculate us. Um, and in all honesty, once we understand that that's what their motive is, everything else starts to fall into place. Now, before sisters wanted to emasculate brothers, both racially and spiritually, who wanted to emasculate us, and which us did they want to emasculate?
Well, the
And
slave
that tells
master
you
with
that
the buck breaking.
exactly.
The
So
buck
what this means
breaking,
is that
calling us outside the hut. The husband actually almost stands guard while he goes in and disfigures and disgraces his wife.
yeah, exactly. And if you rebel, a lot of men actually are less afraid of death than something else.
Oh
And
yeah,
so if you
oh yeah,
rebelled and you said, no, no, master, you ain't doing this, then see, it wasn't necessarily just death or shooting you in the head that you had to fear. There was something worse they would do. They
yeah.
would do it to you. And so
Or your
this is
children,
actually what
or your children.
yep, yep, or them too.
Mm.
So they had ways, and now what a lot of these sisters are doing is they're pretty much saying we're going to do the same thing. He emasculated you, so we're going to emasculate you too. So what
Yeah,
they're doing is they're coming from the same menhage.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
emasculate you, emasculate me. So they're coming out the same menhage. Now, if these slave masters had the shaitan in them when they were doing these things, then what do these sisters have in them when they're saying, I'm going to emasculate you? So therefore, I'm going to accuse you of acts with other men you've never done and never even tried to do,
Yeah,
never even fought a temptation to do. I'm going to blame you for things you've never tried to do. Because see, honestly, man, once this loses its sting, it's no longer that big of a deal to call a man 9AY and people say, oh yeah, what else were you going to say? Then they're going to do to the bulk of men with a few sisters, and I don't mean Muslim sisters per se, but they're included, what a few sisters are doing to passport holding black men. They're going to start saying that they're going to start accusing us of being inclined towards minors. That's what they're going to do. And I mean even prepubescent because
yeah, yeah.
you know why.
They've done that. I've heard women in a spout of anger say that their husband were pedos. They only said that because they say this is what I'm going to use against you.
Uh-huh.
They weren't telling the people, oh yeah, I got evidence and I got pictures and text messages. No, they said, yeah, yeah, and you are this, and they said it in front of cops. They also said, yeah, and you raped me because that last night when she was moaning and groaning and toes curling and having a good time, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that's rape now. I should say grape. That's grape now. Why? Because she's mad now. She's mad the next day. So that was grape, obviously. Because in
Yeah.
retrospect, I don't think I liked it. Do you know women can do that though? You know, women in
Yeah. They,
retrospect can scream grape.
yeah, they can yeah, retroactively withdraw consent after the fact.
Yep. Yep.
And after the act. And that's and so they're going to throw out anything. These are going to be the things that they're going to start throwing out. They're going to start throwing out that grape with the silent G and charges of being inclined towards minors. So they're just going to escalate. And this is part of why it is I've been telling Muslim men back in the West, regardless of what their cultural and racial origins are, I've been telling Muslim men back in the West, not only about hijrah, because that's how I got here, but I've been telling them, listen, don't even start your family over there where you live. You don't want
Yeah,
to do that because
man.
you're in a situation in which they actually could be made fun of for not being harsh on you and not using the weight of the authority on you when they're angry. You have an argument, they go talk to a friend about it, and the friend's got a friend over there at the house. So even if she keeps good company, that doesn't mean that her company keeps good company.
Yeah,
And they will actually go in on her because of what she's not willing to do to oppress you. And because she doesn't make false accusations, because she's not using you, she's not telling you to get 2 and 3 jobs and work yourself to the bone. She's not cheating on you. They can be made fun of for this. And unfortunately, we're in a situation in which the Muslims are falling into that same mindset in which they can make fun of each other for acting like Muslim wives,
yeah.
and not cheating on the husbands and not falsely accusing them and things like this. These there are stories in the UK, really, and you probably heard about them. Some serious stop stories where these some of these Muslimas, um, they become feminist, and then eventually their feminism replaces their Islam. I
Oh
have
yeah,
a cousin like that.
oh yeah.
She was married, and I do believe that she was abused because she showed me the text messages between her and him, and he apologized because she fell unconscious when he was choking her. And I was She didn't tell me that they were going through the divorce until I was visiting the United States on the summer vacation. And half a year later, I checked in. I said, "Listen, how was your faith after all you've gone through?" She said, "To be honest, it's non-existent." And that was the last time we talked, because now all her photos have no hijab. She's an ex-Muslima, so she's got these 2 boys with Muslim names, but because of an ex-husband, she's now given up her faith.
And
And
and that just points to how men are indeed the natural leaders. When a woman tries to lead or usurp any type of authority by way of the system, it is totally unnatural. It's going to harm her. The fact that many women in abusive relationships turn their back on Islam, which means on Allah Ta'ala, right? Because they do
yes,
that, that means men have that natural leadership and natural impact. That's why we should treat them kindly, okay? Or at least not oppress them. Now, the ulama said that when a woman's looking for a husband, uh, look for a man with taqwa. See, because if he has taqwa, if he loves you, he'll treat you very well. And if he has taqwa, even if he hates you, he won't oppress you. You get what I'm saying? I've been with
yeah,
women in my house. I couldn't wait till the iddah was over, bro. I mean, I was miserable. I couldn't wait till it was over, but because I have, without boasting, because I do fear Allah somewhat, right? I didn't oppress
hmm
them. I didn't oppress them. I didn't kick them out on the street, which I probably was justified to some of them, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't do it because I felt that Allah Ta'ala would tax me. And I don't want to be the bad guy. I let them be the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? So even with that
hmm
being said, I think that when them folks come after me, because see, I don't have enough subscribers, I don't have enough followers and sharers of the videos and stuff like that. But if I ever reach that level organically, right, and they come after me, they gonna hit me with the 9AY. Because they know that I talk about that all the time. That's my pet peeve. That's my. So they gonna hit me with it. They gonna come out with pictures and text, and they gonna come out with video probably. They got you ever seen that deep what's called deep, not deep nine, it's called deep fake. You heard about that, right?
Deep fake, yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
they
You put
they
somebody
put
else
somebody's
in.
face on yours.
Uh-huh.
R. Kelly probably was a victim of that. When we had that video with the 16-year-old, 15-year-old girl, whatever, it was a mole on
14.
his butt that doesn't exist on the video. So they got a R. Kelly stand-in probably, put the deep fake on his face. I'm just suggesting because the jurors like that's not R. Kelly. R. Kelly doesn't have a mole. That's a mole. You know what I'm saying? He
hmm
didn't have a mole
hmm
on his butt. I ain't see the video. But I'm saying he didn't have a mole on his butt where the jurors say this guy on the video had the mole.
hmm
So anyway, with that being said, I think I almost guarantee they're gonna come after me with that. But like I said, the way I was raised, my temperament, I pop off. That's why I avoid certain situations. Uh, that's why I used to be a personal trainer for adults, right? Then I focus
hmm
only on youth. I only do youth. And a lot of times, if I leave an organization or refuse to work with an organization, it's never because of the kids. It's always the adults, bro. Always the adults.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when women say stuff as disrespectful as, because I'm gonna tell you, and I probably shouldn't announce my trigger out loud, but if you want to get punched in the mouth, male or female, then have with it. Uh, a woman calling me gay, I'll laugh at that, right? A woman saying, you must be on your period, it boils. It boils from below and it comes up. You know what I'm saying? And they better hope it don't reach my hands. I'm serious. Dude, and you know what's funny? You're a man. Men don't talk to you in a certain way. You know why? Because between men to men, even strangers, there's a low level of potential violence, at least, right?
Yeah.
That's men.
Yeah.
We're lions.
Conflict.
Yeah.
Conflicts can become violent, and we know this.
I mean, detrimental. They can be. They can become fatal. With women, somebody told them that you have a force field. You can say whatever the hell you want to say to a man. Like I said, my favorite Kevin Samuels clip is when a woman said, "Yeah, I left my husband after 3 years." He said, "Why?" "Well, he became physical." "Physical? What do you mean?" "Well, he started to put his hands on me." He said, "So after 3 years, he never put his hands on you, but I mean, within 3 years, never put his hands on you, but after 3 years, he got physical." He said, "Yeah." He said, something ain't right about that. It don't take a man 3 years to go upside your head. You know what I'm saying? He said, "Answer this question. Did you talk down on him? Did you, speak to him disrespectfully and call him out his name?" "Yeah, I admit I did that." He said, "You abused him first. You abused that man first. And he pop off. Now you're the victim." He popped off, and now you're the victim. You told that man he was on his period, and he bust you upside your head after 3 years of going through that, and you're the victim. So now you want divorce.
So in a nutshell, she's been doing that for 3 years, and because he
Exactly.
didn't take it, one day
Exactly.
she said, "Okay, I want to leave." The thing is, and this is part of why I've suggested for men hijra, and not only hijra in terms of livelihood, but why I've told men don't get maritally, don't marry in the West. One of the reasons I've said that is because they are. They're trained to do this. They're trained to talk down on us, to insult us, to needle and just keep on needling. And the thing is that honestly, she was going to leave anyway because if she could talk down to him and there's no consequence, she was already losing respect for him. She may have been cheating already. And if she's Muslim, and this was any time recently, I still stand by what I said. If this was within the last decade, even if they're Muslim, she was probably cheating on this guy because she was talking down to him and he never
Yeah.
hit her.
Yeah.
So it was a lose-lose situation from
Yeah.
jump. They're trained to do things against which you don't have a proper response that's also legal. It can't. They're trained to come up with whatever it is that any effective response is also an illegal response. Just like the kids in the schools, all consequences that are effective are now illegal, and they know this, so they do the absolute worst. And that's how the sister in the taught Canada, stateside, the UK, and much of the Anglophone Caribbean as well, like Trinidad, Barbados, Jamaica, the Bahamas, Belize, and Guyana. They're taught to do the same things. Whatever it is that's they're trained that certain things, of course, you don't have a correct response for. You're wrong if you do anything at all, and you're wrong if you don't do anything, and that's exactly what they seek to do. And once they do it, it's already a catch-22. And so it's a rigged game. That's what I mean when I say that it's a rigged game. And so that's part of why it is that these men should really, right now, we understand that the best thing for these men to do is to simply refuse matrimony while they're living over there until they can get out, until they can complete their hijrah,
You know what
because
I'm thinking
that's
about?
waiting on them.
I'm
What's
thinking
that?
about my passion is coaching youth, man. Dealing with mentoring kids, and stuff like that. My passion. When people ask me what I do for fun, I say I go home and play with my kids. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do for fun. I come home tired. My kids, "Daddy," that's my joy. Going to the football field, "Coach, coach, coach, coach." They want me to strap their helmets up rather than the other coach because they like me so much. So
Hmm.
if I was to relocate from this country to another one, and I went to that country, let's say like where you are, and there was no program. I know they got soccer, right? But if there was no
Yes.
program, like no flag football, no, I probably wouldn't even let them get in the tackle. I don't know if they even ready for that. But flag football, things like that, I probably would start a program. I would probably just engineer the whole program. You know what I'm saying? And set up a game against America and tear America up. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is that that's probably what something I would do. I got a family issue lawsuit thing that's my family had a bunch of land, probably from slavery, after slavery or whatever, a bunch of land in Texas, and Conoco and Exxon been sucking our minerals, bro, and paying no money, so
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
yeah, so we got that going, and if that money comes through, if it comes through, then I probably would, relocate and and keep my passion going, because if I don't do that, I'm gonna go insane in a place like you're living. I would go insane, because I'm gonna say something, you know, I'm gonna say something, but
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, you would, and I don't know exactly where you'd wind up afterwards, but I
Oh yeah,
believe that you
yeah.
would say
But
something.
I'm just saying, I would just focus on that because uh, a lot of brothers that know certain concepts and know our duty as Muslim, they are really active, and even where you are, they're active there. They're active all around. Um, but a lot of brothers that know the concepts and understand, they don't do anything. They don't do anything, bro. And they're here where you can actually speak out. They don't do anything. So I'm, I wouldn't mind moving and relocating, and taking as many of my kids. And if I had the money, I'll relocate their moms too. I don't want them, but I'll relocate their moms too. You know. So anyway, but that's neither here nor there. But when you spoke about Hydra, that's where my mind went. You know. So anyway, I'm definitely not going to go anywhere just to lay down. I couldn't lay down. It's not in my nature. I have too much energy. But anyway,
Naturally,
uh,
naturally.
so so that again, they accuse us of being non-AY, and this is what they do because they know it is an insult to men, to natural men. Men that are not outside of their nature. It's a big insult, and like you say, the hypocrisy is that their association is with the same people. You know, so if they ever call me that, for the system. If the system ever decide to attack me and use that as a go-to, I would say, yeah. So what? I am. What's wrong with it? You know, what's wrong? I don't see nothing wrong with it. They having meetings at the White House. They got special rights. What about my rights? You know, yeah, I'm one of them. What's up? You know what I'm saying, you know. I'm gonna do the jujitsu type thing. I'm not gonna. There go Jawad right there. Walaikum salam, Jawad. Alhamdulillah. Jawad been late the last few times. Sometimes he don't even fall in, man. I'm gonna change my
Okay.
name to uh, Abu Sadiq American. I bet your butter show up on time. I'm just picking on you, Rock. I'm picking on you, subhanallah. So, inshallah, let's move on to delusional dating profile of the week. I want to see if you can pick out the problems in this one. I'm gonna let you handle this one, inshallah. You ready for it?
I'm listening.
See if you can pick out the problems. I'm finna bring it up, inshallah ta'ala. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Can you see that one?
It doesn't show up yet. Hold on. Let me go to the.
Okay. Yeah,
Let's
you
see.
might have to.
I'm gonna go to the YouTube one and see if it shows up
Okay.
there. Let me
Yeah,
see.
it probably on YouTube.
Okay. All right. On YouTube, I can see. All right. Melissa 41. I don't
Yeah.
see the photo, but I can see.
Yeah. I don't
I'm
put
sorry.
I
Yeah.
don't put the photo out because if I did, they'll get roasted. A lot of them will get roasted.
Mm,
And some of them you might fall in love
okay.
with, but some of them will get roasted. And I don't want the photo to change the opinion of the the essence of what they're saying. So
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see here. All right. She loves museums, parks, movies, concerts, cooking, and anything fun. Well, uh, the concerts religiously for us are the only issue so
yeah,
far. So far,
yeah.
looking to meet an African American male. All right,
She's white.
not an issue.
Yeah, she's white.
Oh,
Oh, you know what?
okay,
No, what? I think no. Melissa's black. I'm sorry. Melissa's black. She's black. I'm sorry. I have another one. Yeah.
okay. Gotcha. All right. Let's see. One who does not have small children. My son is 19. Well, nope. Okay, already she's somewhat coming unequally. Now she's specifying age more so than anything, but this is still a cause for an alarm. At least pay attention. Okay. Please no long 12-page messages. My attention span isn't that long. Nobody has a 12-page message. Um,
Nobody.
no, not at all. My attention span isn't that long. Okay, that means she doesn't listen, she doesn't pay attention, and she's not used to doing it because she hasn't had to. Guaranteed to be looked over. Beards are sexy, but I don't like that scratchy feeling if I decide to lay on your chest. So wild beards are a no go. Well, okay, I don't know who walks around with a wild beard that actually is with someone anyway.
Mm.
Hair longer than mine, I'm probably not going to be okay. She's already starting with what she doesn't like, and that's because
Yeah.
she has a whole bunch of things she doesn't like. So in actuality, all she's really saying is, I'm picky. Um, you probably shouldn't be, but I'm picky. That's about the gist of what she's saying. So uh, this one seems milder than some of the other ones I've seen, but in order to have a 19-year-old, you got to have a 2-year-old at some point. So,
Yeah.
um, I mean, she had them at one point. Let's see what else. And she's saying stuff like no long 12. What she's pretty much saying is, um, don't be thorough in telling me anything. That right there, that tells me something. Because
Mm.
one, I mean, 12 pages, nobody does that in one message. So what she's really saying is don't be thorough in telling me stuff. Then later on, I can turn around and use what you didn't tell me against you. I know that right off the bat. I know that. This is an anti-intellectual broad. She didn't pay attention in school. I'm surprised that she can write as well as she does. Um, she generally punctuates and capitalizes okay. But I'm actually kind of shocked she could do that because she seems like the type didn't pay attention. She was too cool for school.
Yeah.
And if you tell her certain things that like she just maybe she makes an honest mistake and confuses Austria with Australia, and you just gently remind her, wait, okay, they're in two different parts of the world. Yeah, whatever. She's one of them. That I can tell that. I can tell right off the bat. But she'll turn around and do the same thing to you. She'll correct you about stuff and probably be wrong in the correction. I already know. I
So,
can tell that.
are you finished yet?
I'm done. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
So the this is what I get. First of all, my Lisa or Melissa, however she says her name, it's a funny spelling, but these days you got to go with it, man. You're not you're not gonna you're not gonna cure this. Uh, 41. You're
Mm.
41, ma'am. Did I mention
Yep.
she's 41? Look, so okay, you half dead already. Okay, you're half dead. Uh, you love museum parks, movies, concerts, cooking, anything fun. No problem with that. Okay, she's not Muslim, whatever, and Muslims do it too. So it's really hard to attack the kuffar when they have a Jannah of this life and we have a sijin. We're supposed to have a sijin, a prison, and they are, I mean, and we're living like this is Jannah here. I mean, a lot of Muslims are. I could send you evidence. Looking to meet an African American male. Okay, that's not a problem. Everybody has preference. Allah says, "Fankihu mataba lakum min an-nisa." Marry those who seem suitable or who you like among the women, and also that's a command for women to marry who you like among the men. Looking goes both ways. So, not too much problem so far, or any problem at all. One who does not have small children. She doesn't like children, bruh. My son is 19. She had her son regrettably. He happened to live to 19. Now you know, he's autonomous now, right? So she
Mm.
doesn't like children. I picked that out. She doesn't like children. Her son is 19. Alhamdulillah, she ain't got to deal with him no more. Probably ruined his life. He's probably not a good man for any woman. You can tell she's single. No, she raised him single. People that raised their children with fathers, you know what they say? I've been divorced 5 years, or he was a good man. I'm not gonna bash him, but I'm looking for my next chapter. That's what they say. This one don't even mention a man. I think she had that child in Wuhan lab in China, where they made the coronavirus. You know what I'm saying? I think she had that child there.
Hmm.
So she don't like children. who does not have small children. Some women in their profiles put, if you got any pictures of children in your profile, I would not date you. They don't say if you have children, if you take a picture with a child. This woman doesn't like children, and her son just happened to live to 19. He probably on life support right now. Please, no 12-page messages. Look, bro, check this out. Now, we know she's being facetious, right? She's being facetious, okay? Camera tricks, right? Facetious. She's being facetious. She's not meaning 12 pages. But women accuse us of doing what all the time? Accusing us of what they accuse us of not doing. Communication, right?
Yep.
So she's saying if you over communicate, she don't mean 12 pages, because there's no pages when you text, right? This is all text. This is not a email site. This is a text site. Okay, you got to send messages. You can't send pictures. It's just all text. So she's saying, please, no 12-page messages. So the men that the other profiles say what? Don't say just good morning. Don't hit me with a hello. Don't hit me with a smiley face. Don't hit me with just a like. Don't just swipe. Say something. That's what all the other ones say. She was unique in saying, please, no long messages. So you damned if you do, damned if you don't, bro.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I'm going to communicate, because the last one told me she get tired of hello in the morning, and she said, I need to, speak out. I need to communicate better. So you communicate with her, a full page of text. No, dude, I ain't reading all that. I ain't reading all that.
No, it's too much, really, because whatever it is that you don't do, and that's what I meant when I said that was a setup. No 12 page. That's a setup.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had somebody do that before. There was somebody that uh, there was someone once. As a matter of fact, her name is Bossy Empress TV, and she is openly a misandrist. She'll tell you that she does not believe in being fair to men. And the men who support her usually have problems with men themselves. Um, they She's like that. She's open and honest like that. She'll tell you that it's okay when men go out and get themselves killed to get the things that women want them to have. That's fine. She believes that she's actually said men always owe women and women never owe men. That it's not two-sided. It's got to be one-sided. That one-sided is fair. You give, she takes. She's one of those. She doesn't hide it. Well, this lady once said something, and I wrote back to her and told her no. See, and I told her why she was wrong, and I laid it out for her. It was about a paragraph, and she wrote back and said, "There's no way I'm going to read that." And I said, "Okay, this is exactly how you don't learn." So now at this point, you pretty much said your opinions don't count because you don't learn enough for them to count. You don't have anything to really make a foundation for your opinions. That's what it is. And but what she was pretty much saying is that she's not going to take in a lot of information. She's not going to learn much. If she comes with a bias, so what? She's just biased. You deal with it. Don't correct her. Don't say anything to her. That's what she's coming with. And that's what this lady's doing. She's setting it. It's all a setup, bro. And that's why I pointed that out. This is intentional on her part. She's 41. By now, she knows she's doing that. When she wrote down no long 12-page messages, she knew what she was doing when she wrote that. Because nobody's, like you said, you don't have pages anyway, and ain't nobody writing no 12 pages.
Yeah.
She knew what she was doing.
Not even one page.
She said that specifically so that whatever it is that you do say, she's got you for it. And she'll just, okay, you've seen people do this on jobs, I'm sure. Some companies or employers, they'll come up with a standard that nobody can meet. They just overlook it if they like you. That's all.
Yeah.
And they want to keep you.
If
But
you're
they
all
have a
white,
standard.
they'll be all right with it.
There you go, right there. They overlook the fact that you didn't meet the standards, and then they can turn around and hold that against somebody else that they really just wanted to get rid of anyway.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they're doing. She's just one of a multitude that's doing this. That's actually standard practice. Now maybe in their 20s they don't fully realize it, but come on, 41. Oh, she's a decade ago she knew she was doing this.
Now,
She knew at
now,
that point.
in the past, I posted one. I used one where the woman said, "And stop with this. How you doing? Or how was your day?" Text. I get tired of that. Everybody says that. Well, that's called breaking the ice. That's being courteous. So I said, this one don't even allow you the common courtesy of English interaction. This is in our language. You know,
Hmm.
So I'm a little different. I say, damn, was you born with that forehead or was it an accident? I'll say something like that. I let them know that I mean, you might be just drop dead gorgeous, but I'm not traditional. I'm not traditional. I said, wow, my condolences. What happened? Didn't you just get in an accident where your head hit the windshield? You know, I say something like that
Hmm.
because I'm not here to impress. I don't need you. You'll ruin my life. You know what I'm saying? So I say anything. But this woman saying uh, my attention span ain't that long. Well, I'm like the same way. I got a long attention span for something I'm interested in. My attention span. Okay, so if I'm telling a woman like, hey, you're acting too masculine, calm down, and she sends me this long text, I text back so she'll know I didn't read it. I text back, I ain't reading all that. I ain't text you all that. Patrice O'Neal had a skit where he says that he said I wasted all my typing years in school beating up dudes that used to go to typing class. He said we used to steal bread and go sell sandwiches while niggas was in class typing. he said
Mm.
he said
Oh God.
he said he said now I'm not a type, so I tell a woman hello and she sent me like a 12-page essay. He said, wow, all I said was hello. And apparently I yelled because I put it in caps like, hello, hello. I mean, it's hilarious, man, with the way he said it, though. So I'm like that when it comes to just this long. I don't want to hear all that. I just said you were too masculine and you sent me a 12-page dissertation. Okay, then it's going to be 12 pages of masculinity. I don't need 12 pages of masculinity. And then she says, guaranteed to be looked over. So if you send her a detailed message, hey, this, and that, or trying to explain to her something that's not on your profile, you're going to get looked over because that's just too much information. Her attention span is short. One thing before I forget that you're not reading into this woman wants casual sex.
Oh, okay.
That's all she wants. Look at the profile, bro. That's all she wants. That's what she wants. Other women make
Okay.
it clear.
Well.
They make it clear. Look, I ain't for no one night stand, no wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. If you're here for just, I forgot what they call it, whatever they call it. If you're here for that, I'm not with it. I'm looking for something long term. We can start as friends. If it builds from that, that's good. I'm with that, but I'm not here for no one night stands. Women make it very clear. This one right here mentioning all these do's and don'ts, and didn't mention one thing about one night stands, which tells me that she's good to go. She's good to go.
You're right. I did miss that because that was one thing I was actually trained to miss that. I was trained growing up. I was trained to assume that that was not on the table
Mm.
unless someone stated explicitly, which they don't do unless someone stated explicitly that that's what it was. But and of course, in my case, um, when I was coming up and then later as an adult, nobody was going to come straight out and say to me, "Hey, yo, black, this is a one night stand." Because then again, that sets the tone and um, that makes everything clear, and then it takes away a lot of plausible deniability. And I was one of those guys for whom they really had to maintain plausible deniability because they really had this mindset that you know what, we got to play more games in this case. For whatever reason, they thought they really had to do it in my case. So yeah, you're right. I did miss that, and even why I missed that is because of training. It's exactly how it was that I was taught from a young age, never to make assumptions like that.
Mm.
Um, and that's part of why it is that I so it's part of why it is that I say so often to these guys, listen, y'all need to get out of there, because what they're doing is see, when I was 30 years ago, I was the dude that they would play a lot of these games on, um, and the other guys they would do this to, they were generally guys from my neighborhood, and we came up in a Huxtable type neighborhood. Well, in the Gulf Coast, the Huxtable neighborhood, even if it was mostly us, that was pretty much seen as an anomaly, because we all pretty much thought we were supposed to grow up in the hood. And if you didn't, something was wrong.
Yeah.
So we became the ones that were slated on whom to play these games. It was largely from my neighborhood. It was okay. They come from that neighborhood, play games on them because they didn't grow up real.
Yeah.
That was the way that worked. Now what they're doing is they're doing this across the board. The same games, they're doing this across the board now at this point. If you read at your age appropriate level, you read at grade level, then they think, okay, you know what? Let's play these games. So yeah, you're right. She is for it, and I completely missed that.
Walaikum salam, Sister
Absolutely.
Farah Evans. This is not an Islamic dating site, but Muslims are on this site. Muslims are indeed on this site. Next Muslim profile I come across, I'll use it, but sometimes it's not enough to discuss. But the fact that they are Muslims maybe is enough to discuss. I think I posted one before where the woman was open to any dude, you know. Or I posted a video from Kendra G show. This Muslim sister from Philly say she open to any dude. She don't care if it's a back alley atheist. She don't care, you know. But nevertheless,
Oh wow. Oh
took
wait. She was on. You said Kendra G show,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, just
Uh-huh.
despicable. She was 600 pounds of non-Islam, bro. Sad. But anyway,
Yeah.
the I want to say was I have posted from Muzmatch before and things like that. A sister said, "Ain't nobody trying to hear about these kafirs, okay?" And I said, okay. I said, you know, the Muslim posts are just as bad or even worse. So I said, you know what? Next week I'm gonna put the Muslim post. So I put the Muslim post. Then the accusation, oh, you making fun of Muslims. I said, oh, you can't satisfy these people. So I'll just stick with the Kafirs. And if I come across a Muslim on here, I'll put them on here. But I'll stick with the Kafirs. I'm just talking about the delusion. This is gender wars, okay? Ex-factly gender wars. So it's not specifically Muslim or Kafir. I just happen to be Muslim, so my opinion has to jibe, you know, and be congruent with Islam. What is this? Jawad says, at 41, I thought they were strong and independent. They don't need and want men. Why do they want them now? I think she's looking for just, you know, just a little, and then, you know, be out of there. I don't think she want nothing. Okay. You know, Afwan sister, no problem. She said she was a whale. Yeah, that one that said she don't want nobody saying good morning. I bet if you say good morning breakfast, she like, huh? What? What'd you say? Breakfast? What was that? Yeah, she want to hear that one. So
Yeah.
so
You say the
anyway,
word push-ups and she'll go running.
yeah. So I continue. She says, beards are sexy, you know, but I don't like the scratchy feeling if I decide to lay on your chest. So while there's no beard on the chest, what you talking about?
No, she's talking about if it's a big beard, then she could put her head on the chest and she would still be able to feel the beard
Ain't
on
nobody
the
ZZ
scalp.
Top around here.
Exactly. See, this is the thing. What this means is
That's
that
just
she
too
can
picky.
feel the beard on the scalp. It's not that she doesn't have much hair on her head. I can tell by the way she said it. Think about it. If
Yeah.
her ear is on the chest and the
You know
beard
what?
is
I
a normal
think
size, she would only be able to feel it on the scalp. But to feel it on the scalp, she has to not have hair covering that
bruh,
scalp. She
bruh,
bald headed, bro.
bruh. She is. She looks like
Oh,
that what's this that Muppet? That Muppet the one that got the what's his name? He got a long cylindric yellow head. Is it Beaker? With a long
not
cylindrical
sure.
head with the little hair on top. She got
Oh
that.
wow.
Her hair shorter than Nita Baker's used to be back in the day, and it's real
Oh
close.
goodness
It's real
gracious.
close to the bone like a pit bull. Her
Oh
hair is short like a pit
wow.
bull, and it hangs down like and it's dyed like Arbery red or something. You know, not red color, Arbery red, like a rusty orange type thing. And this, I remember her face now, Because usually I forget the face because I hold these things for so long. I remember her because she says hair longer than mine. My hair longer than hers. And I'm bald head.
I'm bald headed too, and
Yes. So this right here, I remember her. And when you said her hair
mm,
is probably short, you hit it right on the dot without even seeing her picture.
oh yeah. See, yep. All right, yeah, okay. So she just told on herself, talking about hair
Yeah.
longer than mine. Okay, well, I mean, goodness, your goatee, your beard is longer than hers,
Yeah.
longer than her hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-mm, mm-mm,
If I stand on my hands, my hair be longer than
Oh wow.
if I did a handstand, my beard would be longer than her head. Yeah, but yeah, I
Okay.
remember this. I remember this picture. So wild beards are a no go. Okay, that's consistent with the Islamic standard. So she says, the ulama say if your beard grow like Fu Manchu, or like
Hmm.
resembling some other religion, they say you need. They say it's a must to shave it, to make it look manageable, instead of way down here like you meditate all day or something, or practice yoga.
Mm.
It says, so she said, I'm not going to be, and I think the profile cuts itself off. There's no way to read the rest of that. I think it cuts it off at so many words, so many characters. But yeah, this is the one. Yeah, so she is black. She's like what we call red bone. I don't know if she got a red bone filter. I don't know.
Hmm.
But yeah, she's red bone, and she got that short Muppet hair, you know, and she don't like people with beards longer than her head.
That's terrible. That's the worst. That's it's They just come up with stuff really. See, this is somebody
Subhanallah.
that 40 41. Okay, 41. Yeah, she doesn't understand that she's too much now. She doesn't understand that she's 41 and what that means.
Yeah. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, brother Hashim Abdullah. Man, you're late, bro. You're late. We're about to close this thing out, man. Uh, it's my bedtime and it's brother Black Mind's up time. See, she just alluded
Yeah,
to sex
yeah.
by talking about laying on a man's chest. You know what, Jawad, man? See, this is why we always have to put our minds together. I let Black Mind take the lead in filtering through this profile. Then I came and add some anecdotes that he missed. Okay, now you come. Look at Jawad said. Jawad said she just alluded to sex by talking about laying on a man's chest. I caught the sex way up when she said, well, for her omission. Her omission is why I caught sex. Not why I caught. Let me rephrase that. Why I thought about her wanting a one night stand. A wham bam, right? Thank you, ma'am. Because her lack of detail about relationship. There's no relationship stuff. Jawad said, man, look, it's obvious. She talking about laying on a dude's chest. A stranger. A stranger danger. Talking about laying on this dude's chest. And she want to be comfortable on his chest too. That means you already finished. You already finished.
Yeah.
SubhanAllah.
Because if you met these criteria that she said, she'd find something else and move the goalpost.
Yep.
Um, I mean, imagine if she lays on your chest, but you just don't have much chest hair, even if you had muscles. It's something. It's going to always be something with her, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
why she's
Yeah.
still available at
Yeah.
41.
A 19-year-old son, never been married. You
Mm-mm.
know, I bet if that profile continues, she'll tell you what project she was born in. But
Oh
nevertheless,
wow! And this is in San Antonio,
let me see. I think this one. Let me see where she from. Killeen, Texas.
huh? Okay, all
Yeah,
right. How
Killeen.
far is that from San Antonio?
Let's say 2 hours. 2 hours. It's about an hour drive from Austin, so you're looking at about 2 hours. Yeah,
Okay,
regular
got you. I'd
traffic.
heard of
Yeah,
Killeen.
it's
Okay,
a
I'd heard
military
of
town. Remember
Killeen.
Fort Hood, where Captain no Major
Nadal.
something did the shootout.
Yeah, Nadal was his name.
Yeah, okay. It was something Nadal. I'm Nadal. It was something. But anyway, this guy was an Arab. They got video of him in a convenience store buying alcohol because he used to buy beer. Because if a club is fully naked in Texas,
Hmm.
then you got to bring your own beer to the club. They're not allowed to sell liquor in a fully naked club. Okay, so he used to
Oh,
go to the
okay.
convenience store, buy beer, take it to the strippers, and whatever he didn't drink, he would give to the strippers. Okay, he was in
Okay.
the under video surveillance, on camera surveillance in the convenience store with a Pakistani two piece. Arabs don't wear Pakistani clothes, bruh.
They sure don't. That's one
Arabs
thing they
don't.
don't do.
It was
No,
I,
that
bruh. I stopped listening to anything they had said after that. Whatever they said, I stopped listening to. I said, yeah, y'all got me messed up. You think I'm just gonna buy anything? Yeah, I believe he was a drunk, and he took his liquor to the strip club. That's what CIA and FBI do. FBI known for that. They known for buying liquor, taking it to the strip club. They known by all the strippers. It's what they do to relax after they were oppressed and tortured and killed and blackmailed and started wars in other countries, and they go relax with a stripper. You know. So he had he had all the fixings of a FBI agent. Then they say he goes in. I think they told him to shoot. Remember, they were testing their own soldiers with acid without them knowing. PCP. Was LSD? LSD. They were testing them with LSD without even knowing, sending them on missions. So he walks in. My sister was staying on base at that time, Fort Hood, because her husband was military, right? Career military. And me and him talk, so, whatever. I'm not going to disclose that conversation. But so the guy shoots up the place with blanks. To raise the body count, they sent in 2 extra shooters. On base, they reported that the shooting was coming from 2 different locations.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they brought in live rounds to increase the body count. Then they charged him. Guess what? We never heard from him again. Notice that? Didn't kill him. Never heard from him again. He wasn't allowed to speak after that. He was a major, bruh, in the military. He didn't even say hello after that day. This is called a drill gone live. They do these false flag operations. They have these drills. Then they send in a live shooter. The person that's shooting, remember, nobody shot him. Got MPs on the base. They know where to put the MPs. They know to clear the space. They know people running for their lives, nobody getting shot until those other shooters came in to increase the body count. It's all bad, man. It's just all bad. But, back to the subject. It's all this woman's fault because she ain't got no hair.
She's, and of course the goalpost will be moved, and
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
she'll just move it when somebody does come along and fits any of these. Then she'll come up with something else. And as a matter of fact, to explain why you fit the criteria, you'd have to write maybe about half a page, and that half a page to her is 12 pages.
Yeah, yeah. You
Um,
know what? They need to start adding weight and height to these things. No, actually, they got height. Height is on here, but not weight. That's not fair. That's not fair.
mhm. Yeah, that's why I liked when KS would say, okay, age, height, weight, dress size,
Yeah,
and now continue on. And they had to give these things. And the minute one of them tried to say, that's none of your business, I told you. And he
yeah,
said, okay, we're out of here with that, and
yeah.
put her off.
Oh,
Um,
and guess what
that
else? How many didn't know their dress size? I think it's a medium. No, no, no. What's your dress? Don't do that. What's your dress size?
mm,
I ain't wore a dress in. Look, okay. So we're gonna
yeah,
put you in the
there were plenty
600-pound
that didn't.
category.
Yeah, because as soon as you say you don't know, that's what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, granted, maybe they really just try them on and don't look at a number on there.
No,
But
they looking for numbers, bro. I've shopped with women. They
okay,
looking for numbers, and what they need to do, Kevin Samuels, he should allow them their dress size, or he should say circus tent. That's what he should have done. That's my only criticism.
mm,
He should have said, "What's your dress size?" You don't know. Okay, we're gonna say circus tent. Now continue.
yeah,
Yeah,
that is what you have to do now because even though that's a very mean thing to do, the fact is that that's exactly how we're sized up.
exactly.
That's and it as I stated, as a matter of fact, in my second to last upload, I entitled it "Tell him she'll either call him dumb or insecure,"
Yeah,
because for the guy right off the bat, because we're subject to hyper scrutiny, it's always that whatever it is that you don't come up in anything that you can't come up with as a flex, they're going to go ahead and assume the worst about it. So if they start asking you, okay, well, how much you make, and you say, I'm not disclosing that on this
Yeah,
public forum.
broke.
Um, yeah, exactly. You can't be in the middle. It's broke because you didn't say that you were balling.
Yeah,
If they ask you, as a matter of fact, they even asked. Remember, they asked Michael Jackson if he had ever been with anybody, and he said, "I'm a gentleman." Now, what he meant was, you don't kiss and tell.
yeah,
But of course, everybody, male and female, at that time said, "Okay, yeah, he ain't been with nobody."
yeah,
Then it turns out he had two kids.
yeah.
So it's always the worst possible assumption, and we're trained. We as guys are trained to follow that same logic. So we have to do what he did is what needed to be done because otherwise they were never going to understand how difficult they had been. And even that dog groomer, the one that initially said that his advice helped her, she found someone. She later on came back and tried to say something about black men this and black men
Oh
that.
yeah,
This
oh
this
yeah,
was
yeah.
after he passed away. But in the end,
She
it
was
came
paid for
down to
that.
the
She was
fact.
paid for that though.
I'm sure she
Yeah,
was. She absolutely had to be because there is a very large machine behind this that's willing to pay money and invest into this, invest into the conflict. And really, they're only willing to invest in one side. But I'm sure she was paid for that because while he was alive, she didn't say anything except to follow up by saying his advice helped. I found
yeah,
somebody.
yeah,
Now, then, as soon as he passed away, she came back and said something about black men this and black men that.
yeah.
No, they should. What people need to do, and I've stated this before, in order to understand why there's this conflict going on, be a black man. It doesn't matter if you're American or not. Be a black man, but be normal, and then try to start something. Try to start a couple and family, and later, and whatever. Try to start something with a Western sister, and you can't do it.
You know what's funny?
What's
On that
that?
show, Kevin Samuels was nice, bro. I mean, he was
Yep.
nice. He was, he wasn't insulting. He said, "You're average at best." Average is man. Average is nice. You know what I'm saying? Average is
And he was
beautiful.
agreeing with her,
Yeah,
and he
average
said
is
it because she
beautiful.
did. It, for us, especially, it is because
Yeah, we're
we've
attracted to average.
yep, and everybody knows this. That's one of the reasons why a lot of people tend to run after us shines a lot because
Mm.
we don't look at the average like it's bad. And here's the other thing: when he said you average best, she had said this already about herself.
But guess
He was
what though?
actually
She was less than average
she was.
on that show. She looked worse on that show because she had all that makeup on, and it really didn't take well. It looked like she had a skin graft on her face. Then later on, when she went on them other shows, she was kind of cleaned up a little more on her face. She wasn't all made up, and she came out talking, and she looked like a little bit better. But on that show, Kevin
Mhm.
Samuels, he was justified in calling her a three in the face.
Yeah.
He was justified.
Hmm.
Now she probably be fine as all outdoors, bro. But you can tell her self
Pro-
esteem is low because she had that Texas Chainsaw Massacre mask on. You know, she had
hmm
the patches of
Leatherface.
skin. She had that type stuff on, and that
Yep.
makeup was
Leatherface.
horrible. Can you see what Sister Farrah put? Sister Farrah Evans. Can you see what she put?
Hold on. Let me
It,
go to
it's on YouTube.
Facebook, and
It's
I'll
on
be.
Facebook.
Yeah. Let me see. Oh, we all know our numbers. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's coming from a sister, so y'all can't blame us. They
Mm.
know they dress sizes. I guess what? Tell a sister, look, uh, it's Eid, or I'm just in a generous move. I want to buy you a dress. What size do you wear? Man, they'll send you a link so fast. They'll send you a link so fast. Stop with that. I'm gonna start sending circus tents out. I'm gonna send tarps, tents. Now I'm gonna send a
Mm.
tarp. You know, when you put over a hole in the roof, if you ain't finished doing the roof,
Yep.
put over the roof. I'm gonna send a tarp out. Oh, you want a dress? I'm gonna send you a tarp with some bungee cords.
Mm.
Jawad says I have to get to see you next week. This was funny episode. Please send them some.
God have mercy.
Send them some cats.
But you,
Like I say,
you
buy
two,
buy a dog cat, grow old and die alone. You know.
see,
So,
you two crack me up. You talking about I'm gonna send him some tarps and some and he said I'm gonna send him some dogs and cats. Y'all are killing me. This, this is, but I'm glad I will. I'm glad I got up a little bit early, a little bit extra early for this. And Farrah gave me some insight because she said, "Oh no, we all know." So that
Yeah.
means that when they said, "I don't know," they were lying, and it would have been better for them to
Oh
just say,
yeah.
"I'd rather not say." In which case, he would say,
Disingenuous.
"Okay, well then we'll discontinue this
Yeah.
and put them off."
Yeah.
Um, because that would have saved a lot of time. And I'll be honest, I do think that one of the reasons that he passed away was not only his work hours. Part of that, yeah, he did to himself because he was saying, "High value man, we work 60 hours a
Yeah.
week." Excuse me, that's
Red Bull, Red Bull, Red Bull. I noticed
exactly,
they don't want to
exactly.
blame Red Bull, bruh.
Mhm.
That stuff causes heart attacks.
I'm sure it does.
My son, my stepson, he's like 27 now, but he was a workaholic since he was young. And he worked two jobs, man, like back to back. I mean, full 8 hours, and barely got
Hmm.
sleep. Cause he came to live with me for 3 months when he lost his apartment. Okay, so
Hmm.
he's living with me, and he's just workaholic, workaholic, workaholic. And I know he saved up a lot of money because I don't charge my kids anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm not there
Hmm.
yet, right? When I get older, maybe. But so this little boy was I'm like, how do you stay up? Come to find out, he's down in Red Bulls and stuff. He had an irregular
Hmm.
heart murmur. I don't know if it's a murmur or just a regular heartbeat or whatever they call it medically, but he had to check himself in. He couldn't go to work. It was low energy. Because oxygen, you pumping oxygen, your heart ain't pumping right. Things happen. You get
Hmm.
low energy. So he was fatigued. He went to get checked out. They found out, man, look, you got your heart is irregular. Not that his heart went bad. Whatever he was doing was making his heart irregular. So when I first heard Kevin Samuels died, I said Red Bull. Red Bull. That's the first thing I said. Red Bull.
Yeah.
I seen him.
Um,
Remember, he had the can with the straw, so they clowning him for
hmm.
that, right?
Yeah.
Because that's you don't want to put that stuff on your teeth. It tears your teeth up. That Red Bull and
Right.
soda. So people drink it through a
Hmm.
straw, so it goes right down the throat. So it don't get on the teeth as much. So
Hmm.
he had the straw, and they try to use that, try to say he 9AY. I didn't find anything 9AY about that dude, except that he spoke the truth. And that's what us 9AYs tend to do. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Or as accused ones. But
Yeah.
anyway, so he went from that to just drinking it, from a cup or something. He'll pour it inside of a cup. He wouldn't even drink it from the can anymore because of, these comments and stuff. So, people are brutal, man. They're brutal.
They are, and granted, I mean, I did think that he was a little bit effete in his mannerisms, but he himself said that he didn't grow up with his pops.
Yeah.
And other thing too was that uh, so he was aware of the mannerisms, but that didn't mean he was into dudes. Another thing too was that, see, in my hometown, there's no difference between them. If you're a feet, then you're into dudes. But the thing was that in Atlanta, where he moved, that actually there is a clear delineation between them,
Yeah.
between somebody just having light mannerisms and actually being into dudes. I mean, there are guys that have mannerisms the same as other men, and they're into guys.
Oh,
That
yeah.
happens in
Oh,
Atlanta.
yeah.
But the fact was that he moved to Atlanta, and that kind of made it a little worse for his reputation. But having lived in Atlanta, I knew actually that was going to prove that he either was or was not.
No,
Because
that
if he
was a
moved to,
money move.
it
That was a
was
money move. 'Cause
exactly,
New York was really expensive, bro.
it was,
And
in
from what
Atlanta,
he does, his income doesn't increase. See, New York, their cost of living sets their minimum wage. It sets what jobs pay and things like that, right? So they try to balance it
right?
out. Same with California, but when you
Hmm.
move out of there and move to other places like Atlanta and Texas and stuff like that, it kind of it balances itself out in that way. But the way his income came in through social media and through counseling, there was no price increase if he lived in. I mean, there was no earning increase if he lived in New York. So he moved
None.
somewhere that was more affordable to live. Now his profits are higher. You know,
Exactly, exactly. And
it's a
truth be
power
told,
move.
and yeah, it was. It absolutely was. And the thing is that for him, it would have made more sense to go there. And then not only that, but it's generally speaking, it's just warmer there.
Yeah,
If you once you're making a certain amount of money, Atlanta's not a bad place to live. I
yeah,
lived there for a long time. And the other thing too was that, see, in Atlanta, him moving there actually wound up proving that he was not into other guys
yeah,
because the
yeah.
community there,
Oh, they know each other.
living there, yeah, they do. And the thing is that if you once you are active below the belt with that community, you do not get to move up without them coming along with you.
Yeah.
They don't tolerate that.
Yeah.
So you don't just get to go there, live with their community, dig them out, they dig you out, and then you move up and then you leave them behind. They don't tolerate that. They're going to out you because you weren't going to because you weren't going to take them with you. Once you deny that that's how you are, and someone have been with you, they're going to show
they're going to
the
expose
evidence
you.
that they. Yeah, exactly. And they'll do it with evidence, either several witnesses or evidence, or they're going to say, okay, look, we got security of him going into this particular club, security footage of him going into this club.
Yeah, because see, think about it.
Will do that.
9AY is very positive until they want to make it negative. It's like the same with people that like Eminem. Eminem is from, he'll be considered more black than white, you know. Yeah. But he still has the card. You know what I'm saying? He still got dual citizenship. So he can say the N-word, which he don't do often, but he can say the N-word. He can go to places and hang out, you know, that other white folks may not be able to go. But if he needs to use that card, he got dual citizenship. Mm-hmm. If he ever got to use that card, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just how that works. But anyway, alhamdulillah, Akhi, thank you for coming on as always. Jawad, promise he won't be late next time. We'll see. I'm gonna figure out what if you got any suggestions, man, let me know about topics. You know, I'm always open, but I got a few under my sleeve, man, you know. Really I do. But I appreciate you coming on as always.
And thank you for having me. And just send me the list of the topics you have in mind, because chances are we were thinking of the same ones anyway.
Okay, yeah. More than likely.
All right. Thanks a million for being patient with me.
Oh, no problem, Mark. Like I said, you make it easy for me, man. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. And look forward to next week, inshallah.
Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
All right. And we got a latecomer. Abdurrahman Khaddam Al-Jami. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Akhi, you're going to have to go back and watch it because there's some gems in there. And it's part comedic, you know, as well. But there's some gems, inshallah ta'ala. So I'm going to go lay down. I don't know if I'm going to go to sleep. I can't promise you that, but I'm going to go lay down. That's all that I have. This has been your brother, Saudi Imam for X Factly. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.